Hello all and welcome to this. I am in a random hotel room in Columbus, Ohio, on my way to St. Louis to see my buddy Ben. Sorry, the hooker is just leaving. Yep, see you later. Bye. And I thought of this cool idea. I don't know if anyone's done it. I don't really watch a lot of people's videos, to be honest. But I thought about doing a video about not like well, I guess it is. It would be the best matches that I've seen, best or favorite. Not necessarily all of them are the best, but my favorite matches that I've ever seen in person, the events that I've been to. Now, I've been to a lot of events. I'd say I'm above average for the fans who go to these shows. There's not like this, I hate this word, but the stupid super fans who are super fans of WWE. I mean, I think if you go to no shows and you love the WWE, you can be a super fan, but for lack of a better term, the super fans who go to like every fucking show. And then there are guys like, you know, the Clique, who go to WrestleMania every year and go to other shows and stuff. I'd say I'm right in the above average category, because I do go to a lot of shows, but nothing like crazy. So I started at the beginning, my very first show. It was a house show, actually, in '93. I remember Macho Man teamed with The Undertaker, and I forget who they faced. I remember seeing Giant Gonzalez, and that's the first guy I ever touched was 1-2-3 Kid. I reached over the railing and touched him on the back, I think it was. So that was my first show. And then my next show was WrestleMania 10. So that's going to start off the list, and I have a list. If you see me looking up, I wrote them all down. WrestleMania 10 had two matches that were instant classics. First one started off the show, Brett versus Owen. And a lot of these ones in the beginning, when I was a kid, you just go and you're like, wow, this is awesome. You don't really appreciate like what the people are doing in the ring because you're just like a kid. Like in '94, I was 8, and I was in the very last row of Madison Square Garden. And since it's not that big, it wasn't a terrible view either, so I had a good view. I was actually straight across from where the ramp is. You know, MSG has that like weird ramp that doesn't come from the side, it comes from the front. So if this was the ramp right here, I was all the way back there, straight shot to it. So Owen versus Brett kicked off the show, and looking back, that was incredible. And if we were talking about it today and all the internet and stuff, you would realize that, you know, Brett's probably going to put Owen over. But to see him actually win was pretty fucking cool. And then another one in that match, in that pay-per-view, obviously, HBK and Razor Ramon, the first ever ladder match. To get to say that I was there, even though I was 8 and didn't really understand what I was witnessing, the one thing I do remember was seeing Shawn Michaels' ass. So I'm pretty sure I was on the side where he got his pants pulled down. I'm pretty sure I was on the side where he was facing. But that's like the one thing that sticks out of my mind, was that a guy had his pants taken off. And then that was '94, and the next show I went to, I didn't get to go to a lot of shows because nobody in my family watched wrestling. I just started watching when I was like 3 or 4, so like '89, '90, just randomly started watching. My parents didn't like wrestling. I don't even know how my dad got tickets to WrestleMania 10. So I didn't get to go to a lot of shows, because if you look from like when I moved to Connecticut, '93, '94, to like when I actually got my license, I even like before that, probably like when I was in high school, when I could have gone to these shows if I had like a parent who liked wrestling. There were a ton of shows in this area, so many good shows that I didn't get to go to. So the next show after that was SummerSlam in '98, and this is going to shock some people. One of my favorite matches being there, that was '98, I was in 7th grade. One of my favorite matches in that was X-Pac versus Jeff Jarrett in the hair versus hair match. I don't know why, but I was super friggin' into that match and nervous for X-Pac to get his hair cut. I don't know, I guess maybe I thought that was like a huge part of his fucking character. I just remember being super nervous about that match and really enjoying that one. Then there was Triple H versus The Rock in the ladder match, which was friggin' awesome. Triple H and DX. Triple H was a good guy, Rock was a bad guy with the Nation, and that was just a phenomenal match. And then also what I didn't put on the list, I forgot about, is not the Austin Undertaker match, because Austin got like knocked out in the beginning, and that match was kind of a letdown. But the pop that he got, I went with my friend Will, and the Undertaker's coming out, and he's the only dude in that entire place cheering for the Undertaker. I swear to God, there's nobody else cheering for the Undertaker. And then his music stops, everyone's quiet, and then that glass breaks, and that place, it's the second loudest building I've ever friggin' heard. It was insane. To be able to see him in his heyday was, looking back, was friggin' awesome. Then the next show I went to was a couple of years, no, more than that, was WrestleMania 20 in 2004. That was my high school graduation gift. And considering Alex was 8 years younger, the bastard got the tag along for free. My dad bought 4 tickets on eBay, and when he messaged the guy messaged him and said, "Hey, sorry, I don't have the tickets to the race on me." My dad said, "Yeah, the race? Yeah, no, we're gonna cancel this, and we're gonna go get different tickets." So we ended up getting 3 tickets. Even in 2004, they were $500 a piece. I guess that makes sense considering MSG only had like 20,000 people. So that was my high school graduation gift, and the 2 main events were obviously the best. Eddie and Kurt. Lucky enough to have seen Eddie wrestle, and then Triple H and Shawn Michaels in their singles match where they both lost. And then Eddie Guerrero came out and celebrated by himself. I still have a piece of confetti from the end when Eddie and that other guy, forget his name, were celebrating. Because my dad he just wanted to get out of there. So as the confetti's falling, I grabbed some, and then we got out of there. So we didn't really stay for the celebration. But I did get to see that. I remember rooting. I knew Benoit was going to win. Shit, I said that name. I knew that guy was going to win, but I was rooting for Shawn Michaels. Alright, and then 2004 was a big year. I went to 2 shows. Vengeance 2004, which had the rematch Triple H, the show after had the 3-way again, and then I don't remember where this fell after that, but it was Triple H versus that guy in a rematch. And then the best match in that card was Orton versus Edge. Edge beat Orton for the IC title and ended Orton's reign. I don't know how long it was, but he beat Orton, and that was sort of like Edge's beginning. I think he got hurt shortly after that. And then there's one that I forgot to put on the list. It was a Raw. It was the Raw from, I think it was 2005, where Daivari and Muhammad Hassan were beating up Shawn Michaels, and Hogan came out to save him. It's the only time I really ever seen Hogan live. I never got to see him wrestle, but that was the loudest building I've ever heard. I was on the floor for that, and like you couldn't hear yourself think. I remember just my ears were just ringing. It was so friggin' loud. It was friggin' insane. And I think 1 year before, or maybe it was the same year, it was Muhammad Hassan and, I'm not going to look it up, but you guys can look it up. It was Muhammad Hassan and Daivari having the debate with Jim Ross. The only reason I mention that is because my friend Greg and I got on TV. They're in the, if you go look up that clip, they'll pan to the crowd on the ramp. There's a guy in a Giants jersey, white Giants jersey, which is me, looking at the ring going, asshole, and then my friend Greg next to me waving at the camera like this. So we got on TV. I think that was the first time I ever got on TV. Alright, so after that, the next thing on my list is John Cena 2008 Royal Rumble return. I remember Ramey and I were there. We were sort of in the middle at MSG, so it wasn't bad. The ramp was on this side, we were that way. So we could see the guys come in from that side. And we're wondering who number 30 is. And this was when John Cena was like, people friggin' like they hated him. And he got hurt and he was gone. He was supposed to be gone for like, 6 years or something. He came back in like 3 days. And it took like between 29 and 30, I swear to God, it was like 5 minutes at least. It was forever. And then Cena came out and we marked out, everyone marked out. People forgot that they hated Cena for just that little bit. And then once the high wore off, we were all like, oh fuck, he's not going to come back and lose. And then, of course, he won the Royal Rumble, obviously. Alright, and then we're jumping to 2011, WrestleMania 27, which generally was a shit WrestleMania. It did have a good match, which I didn't put on my list. Punk and Orton was really good. I enjoyed that. And also Rey Mysterio and Cody was actually very good. But first moment I have on there was Edge's last match. We didn't know it was going to be his last match. It ended up being his last match. So I got to see that in person, which is pretty cool. As the fan goes off. And then Taker versus Trips. I still think Taker versus Trips at 27 is much better than their Hell in a Cell match. I don't think it's better just because they were in Hell in a Cell. I think their match at 27 was much better. And then I forgot to put this on there too. The Raw after that in Bridgeport, Alex and Mikey both wore their Edge shirts to a Raw where Edge was on SmackDown. So I was like, that's stupid. And then they said Edge retiring, and we were like, what the fuck, he's going to be on Raw? And then he announced his retirement in Bridgeport. So I saw his last match, and then his announcement that he was retiring. And I love Edge. If you haven't seen the video of me meeting him at Legends, go look at that. The guy is just the man. So there's that. And then SummerSlam 2011 didn't have any good matches, but I got to see Punk win the WWE title and start his streak of 434 days of misery, as TJ would say. So we're going to skip Punk and then go right to Punk at WrestleMania 29, which was also not a very good WrestleMania, but Undertaker and Punk was by far the best match of the night. Had a little bit of doubt there for a second that Punk was going to win, but, you know, obviously that didn't happen. That was by far the best match of that night. That was Mikey's first WrestleMania too. And then, speaking of WrestleMania, the Raw after 29, Dolph Ziggler cashes in is definitely one of the coolest things that I have seen. We have that video of him cashing in, our live reactions. When his music hits, the pop he got, just that whole night in general was amazing. But the pop he got from us and from everyone was amazing. And then I still think that's the best Money in the Bank cash-in match, because Del Rio was injured, so you're like, all right, Dolph's coming out, he's coming out, and then he comes out and people explode. It's awesome. He comes out, and then there's that little moment where you're like, Del Rio hit him with a kick or something, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. You can hear in the video Alex says something like, if Dolph doesn't win or if Del Rio wins, I'm not going to watch. Because you were like, holy shit, they might actually have Del Rio win. You get that little bit of doubt, which made it even better when he won. And then we all exploded, and that whole night was just awesome. Alright, next is Extreme Rules 2014, Shield versus Evolution. I don't really remember if it was like that great of a match, just the fact that you're seeing the Shield versus Evolution reunion, which was fucking awesome. I don't know if I ever heard that theme song live. I don't know if I ever went to any shows. And if you notice, these are a lot of pay-per-views. I never went to that many Raws. I did go to the Raw after 2002 SummerSlam, where Shawn Michaels returned. I really wanted to go to that SummerSlam because I legitimately thought that that'd be Shawn Michaels' like only match back. So I like begged my dad, but no. But we went to the Raw after that when Triple H came out to Shawn Michaels music. I fucking freaked out. I was like, yes, I get to see HBK, and of course no. So fucking Triple H buried me there. So Shield versus Evolution, and then Money in the Bank 14, Alex and I got to see Seth Rollins win his Money in the Bank, which we know he held for a while and then ended up cashing in at WrestleMania, so it was the start of something really friggin' awesome. And then next year, 2015, at the Royal Rumble, Seth Rollins, that's still actually our most viewed video. It's got like over 100,000 views. Rollins versus Lesnar versus Cena. That match was just fucking awesome. It was me, Alex, Griff, TJ, and Keith. Still the only time we've seen Keith. Keith, we need to do something. So that match was great. And then, of course, it was actually fun booing the shit out of Roman Reigns. But when Daniel Bryan got eliminated, God, that was just so depressing. Just shattered dreams. And then after that, this is probably, if I were to rank these, this is probably the best match I've ever seen in person. And it's NXT Takeover Brooklyn, the first one, Sasha and Bayley. Murph and I, everyone really, but I was sitting next to Murph. We were just so fucking into that match. Like, you knew Bayley was gonna win, but weren't totally sure. Like, maybe they could do something ridiculous. And I said this to her too, like when she won and we just jumped up and down, I knocked into the guy behind me. We were freaking the fuck out because it was such an awesome match, and that finish was just ridiculous donkey. And like, that's probably the best match I've seen, if not tied with the second next one on this list. Next is TLC. Ambrose beats Kevin Owens for the IC title. Match wasn't anything special. It was cool to see Dean win a title. And then the next match is probably tied with Sasha Bailey. It's another takeover in Dallas. Nakamura and Sami Zayn. I mean, I could talk an entire video of how fucking amazing that match was. It was just, the crowd was fucking awesome. The match was awesome. Our chants were awesome. It was just Nakamura's debut. It was just, I mean, and something I could add to this list is any other time I've seen Nakamura, now that the fans chant his theme song, I mean, that's just, like at Brooklyn 2, I'm getting ahead of myself. So, Zayn Nakamura in Dallas, absolutely incredible. I fucking hate the glare that these glasses. Alright, then Extreme Rules, Miz, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and Owens. That fucking loser Miz won, but that match was just fantastic. Alex and I were, I think, second row for it, like right off the ramp, so that's the closest we've gotten without, you know, getting fucked over and being on the aisle. Seems like every other time we've gotten the aisle. Seats 15 and 16, aisle. Seats 1 and 2, aisle. Just wherever arena we're in and we get seats that we think are the aisle, or the ramp, they're always the aisle. Like, it never fails. It's unbelievable. But that match was friggin' awesome. And then Battleground 16, getting to see the Shield triple threat match that we've all been wanting to see. I mean, it wasn't that great. I did mark the fuck out when Ambrose retained, just because I thought it was awesome that he's the one who won that triple threat match. Considering Reigns was champion, Rollins was champion, and Ambrose finally became champion and won that match. And then winding down to NXT Takeover Brooklyn 2. The best match that night was actually the Revival and Gargano and Ciampa. Alex and I were friggin' marking out. There was that one false finish where, I forget what it was, where they were near the ropes and he got his leg on the rope, where Alex freaked out like they had actually won, and then I was like, wait, no, they didn't. And we were all like, holy shit, they have to win, come on, they gotta win. And then the fucking Revival won, of course. And then we were all praying that Ciampa did not turn on Gargano. We were fucking waiting for it, and they were walking up the ramp, and then when it got dark, we all were like, oh, thank God he didn't turn on him. And last but not least, SummerSlam 16, the last show that I went to. That was the last show that I went to, right? Yeah. Cena versus Styles. By far the best match of that night. The whole... Like, I get that SummerSlam and WrestleMania are these big shows, and you want to get as many people on the card as you possibly can. They're supposed to have Baron Corbin and Kalisto, by the way, which would have been another match. But these, like, 5-6 hour shows, it's too fucking much. It's too goddamn much. You can't put everyone on the friggin' show. You just can't. It's too much. So by the end of that, when Reigns and friggin' Rusev came out and they didn't have a match, I was like so thankful, because I did not want to sit through 2 more matches, because I was just fucking so sick of sitting in that cramped seat for like 6 hours. It was terrible. But Cena and Styles was absolutely, no pun intended, it was absolutely phenomenal. It was by far the best match of that night, and Styles won clean. That friggin' super attitude adjustment from the top rope and he kicked out, I thought that was really, really well done. And that's basically it. Those are the best matches, my favorite matches, favorite moments that I've seen in person. Somehow managed to get this video done in under 20 minutes, so that's a fucking win. Yeah, I usually don't do videos like this, but I was bored in the hotel room. Maybe I'll do more. I doubt it, but I hope for the best. So, thanks for watching.